Here's what's coming up on today's show.
So that's why it's important that we take the appropriate amount of risk, that one, that's going to keep them on track for their goals, and two, that they're comfortable with so they don't want to pull out of the market.
Hello, this is Mark Silverman, managing member and founder of Silverman Associates, and I'm also a certified financial planner professional. I want to welcome you to the Saving With Silverman podcast. I'm glad you're here. Each week, we'll discuss different financial planning topics because making smarter choices about your money impacts the quality of your life.
Got a quote of the week here from Richard Friedman, and I think you'll like this one, Mark. I do. He said, "Money will buy you a fine dog, but only love can make it wag its tail."
That is true. Wow. That's a good one, actually.
Absolutely.
I mean, I've seen people with lots of money that aren't happy. So,
Yeah.
Money doesn't buy happiness. And so you got to be happy with what you have. And it's not the money that's important. It's what you can do with the money that should be important. And there should be a point where enough's enough, right?
And we're not talking about just dogs here. We're talking about that applies
We're
to
talking
life
about people, right?
in general.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Hey, let's talk about risk takers. A lot of people out there take risks with their money, and I'm going to ask, what percentage of your clients consider themselves to be comfortable with risk, and what percentage consider themselves to be risk averse?
It's a mixture, but I mean, we really spend a lot of time with clients understanding risk, because we find that even clients that have worked with other advisors for a long time don't really understand how risk works and that sort of thing. We are big fans of globally diversified portfolios, and they work well, they're liquid, that sort of thing, and they'll give you the growth that you need. If you think that you can throw some money into some special annuity products that are going to pay you some crazy bonus that you're going to make X amount % a year with no risk, and when the market goes up, you make money, and when the market goes down, you don't make any money. It doesn't work extremely like that. It's a lot of pie in the sky numbers, and you're tied up in that sort of thing. So it's important to understand that. But getting back to your question, risk is really a function of how much time you have to invest. And if you have a time horizon of, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years, the more risk you can take and the more return you're going to get. It's staying in the market. As we like to say, investments work, investors don't. So it's being in the right portfolio, having it managed appropriately, and being able to stay in that portfolio, having adjustments made to it so that you're going to have the money you need when you need it.
A lot of people out there say that they are, they are comfortable with risk, and other people say they're not comfortable at all. But very often you find people's portfolios don't really match what they're saying about and how they're feeling about risk. And a lot of people aren't even aware of it.
That's true. So when we get somebody new that comes in, and we'll analyze their current portfolio of about how much risk they're taking versus how much risk they think they're taking or want to be taking, they usually don't align. So it's important to understand. And risk is a funny thing. Everybody wants to be aggressive when the market's going up, and everybody wants to be conservative when the market's going down. Unfortunately, you can't time the market. And I know everybody knows that, but, human nature tells us otherwise. And so it's important to understand that. And we will sit through clients and walk them through that to show them how much risk they're taking, because the markets will go down. It's not a matter of if, but when. So they've got to be able to stay in that portfolio and stay invested. And so that's why it's important that we take the appropriate amount of risk, that one, that's going to keep them on track for their goals, and two, that they're comfortable with so they don't want to pull out of the market.
Mark, for folks out there who may not know how much risk they're taking, how can they tell?
Well, part of our financial planning process is, looking at their risk. We can actually quantify it. So we'll analyze their portfolio and just kind of see, where they are on the risk spectrum based on how they answer. We use an online tool that really does analyze their risk tolerance. And if they're married, we'll do one for each, both spouses, and then understanding that risk, and then compare it to their current portfolio and show them, here's how you've answered the questions. Here's where you should be based on your risk and your goals. Here's where you are. Here's the adjustments that we would recommend. Maybe you're not diversified appropriately, whatever. So it's really understanding that.
Okay, we're talking about risk takers on today's show, and you're listening to Saving with Silverman with the one and only Mark Silverman. I'm Ron Stutz, hanging out with Mark every time we do this show. Why do so many people take unnecessary risks with their retirement money?
I don't know if they take unnecessary. I think people don't understand the risk they're taking. I think they're either, put into a portfolio. Maybe they set up a portfolio early on and haven't rebalanced or done anything with it. It's just sitting there for years and years, which is not good. or they're throwing it into a financial product that they don't understand until they need to access it, and they can't access it the way they thought they could, or it doesn't grow the way they thought it would. So people are, they either trust their advisor or they trust, a friend that put it into something and they haven't done anything with it. Where it should be active. I mean, if you're not actively managing your money, you're not rebalancing it, you're not reviewing it on a regular basis, you need to outsource it to somebody else to do that for you, because it's you and your family's financial future that's at stake. So it's important, like I said, and most people outsource it that we work with. All the people we work with outsource that. But if you're not going to be doing it on a daily basis or weekly basis, however often you do it, like I said, it's important that you work with somebody that will help you with that as well. And so you understand that.
Yeah. You're listening to Saving with Silverman with Mark Silverman. And we always talk about getting you to and through retirement. And it's all about getting the true wealth financial life planning process. You can find out more about that in a conversation with Mark Silverman. I'll tell you how you can arrange that coming up in just a moment here. Mark, is there a way to significantly reduce portfolio risk without also significantly reducing opportunities for growth?
Absolutely. A globally diversified portfolio. So, which means spreading out your investments, not just into, just stocks, bonds, and cash, but how much we have in those, in bonds, different types, different maturities, different lengths, different types of bonds on the equity side, stock side, international as well as domestic, value versus growth, small versus mid versus large cap. There's lots of different areas that we can spread your money in, which will help reduce the volatility and the risk of the portfolio, but it'll also help you with the returns because you're spread it out into different asset classes, which some are going to do better than others. So that's why it's important. That's why we diversify.
Mm-hmm. How can somebody know how much financial risk is appropriate for their individual situation?
Really, the only way to know that is to sit down with somebody that knows what they're talking about, that can analyze your portfolio and analyze your risk and put the time in there to make sure that not one, just how much risk you're taking, but how much risk is appropriate for you to take. Maybe you're not taking enough risk. Maybe you're taking too much risk. That's going to keep you on track for your goals. Everybody's situation is different. Some people plan on working forever. Some people don't. Some people are going to live forever. Some people won't. And so, with that being said, everybody's situation is different. So that's why everything that we do is customized on our end as far as building a financial plan. And so, it's not one size fits all where, with some of these annuity people, they're pushing the same annuity out to everybody, no matter what their situation is. And that's just a product sale. But if you're looking for somebody that's going to sit down and put the time in and give you advice based on your specific goals and needs and where you are in life and where you want to be, that's exactly what we do.
You've been listening to the Saving with Silverman podcast. If you have any questions at all about your financial situation, please give Mark Silverman a call. Again, his number is 520-333-7601. Or go online to savingwithsilverman.com. For Mark Silverman, I'm Ron Stutz. We'll see you next time on the Saving with Silverman podcast.
The Saving with Silverman podcast is brought to you by Silverman Associates Wealth Management, LLC, based in Tucson, Arizona. The show is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to shows. Subscribe to the show on your favorite app today and never miss an episode. Just search for Saving with Silverman to find us, or visit savingwithsilverman.com to listen to past episodes, to contact Mark, and to learn more about how to make smarter decisions with your money.
Did you know that Mark Silverman also has a radio show? Tune in to Saving with Silverman Saturdays and Sundays at 3 p.m. on AM 790 KNST.
All matters discussed on this show are for informational purposes only. Opinions expressed are solely those of Silverman Associates Wealth Management, LLC, and staff. All topics covered are believed to be from reliable sources. However, Silverman Associates Wealth Management, LLC makes no representation as to its accuracy or completeness. This show shall in no way be construed as a solicitation to sell securities or investment advisory services to residents of any state other than Arizona or where otherwise permitted. Topics should be discussed with your individual advisor prior to implementation. Fee-based financial planning and investment advisory services offered through Silverman Associates Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor in the state of Arizona. Insurance products and services are offered through Silverman Associates, an affiliated company.